Hey, we're back with the HBCU Stroll. Boy, I didn't even know if I was gonna make it back. When you talk about homecoming, Texas Southern University showed up, showed out. We won the football game. I think we won the best time. MC Light was, as we say, off the chain. Had the whole crowd going swerve, swerve, swerve. Man, the food delicious. The catfish was flowing. Of course, the ribs and the steak and the chicken wings. Man, man, I thought this morning I coughed up a feather. Seen all the alumni, former players that I've coached from 1986 to today, and had some great talks. Uh, and it was just a great time. And I've heard the same thing about Prairie View. A&M's homecoming was great. Just in Houston alone, they had Texas Southern's homecoming going on, Prairie View's homecoming going on, University of Houston's homecoming, and I heard Rice University. Then we had those great Astros putting it on, putting again jumped up 5-0 on Thursday, gave it up 6-5, came back. I'm sorry, on Friday came back on Saturday and jumped up 5-0 again and were able to get out there with a win. So it was exciting weekend. My granddaughter had her birthday party, so I was able to get to that and do some color drawing, some face drawing. But we had a great time. So now to my show. Again, I'm HBCU coaches. This time I'm on the female side. I'm on the basketball side. Hall of Famer. Matter of fact, I had the opportunity to play with her husband at Texas Southern University. I want to bring on Tuskegee's Hall of Famer, bad head coach. She can get it done, have got it done. Miss Belinda Roby. How you doing?
I'm good, Coach. Thank you for having me today. Glad to be here.
Well, good. I'm glad you found time. Now that you retired and you associate AD and you found time for us to just talk about you and the greatness that you have done and kind of pick up from where you started off in this adventure. Where you guys are from? Where you from?
I'm from Mississippi, a place called Duck Hill, Mississippi, one of the smallest towns in the state of Mississippi.
Mississippi has some interesting places. I interviewed Kevin Granger. He was from Scuba, Mississippi. So
Hmm.
you guys from Mississippi, man, you I wouldn't say overachievers, but you guys know how to work hard and uh, and and achieve in your area. You was a basketball player. Who taught you how to play basketball?
I really have to give that credit to my mom and dad because they allowed us to. We lived out in the country, so during that time you didn't have a choice but to play basketball. You didn't have anything else. You couldn't go anywhere, so you just had to play basketball. That was
Now, and did y'all have a? Because I know at the Cole House we made our bank board,
we did.
and uh, and then Dad went to the dump yard and got and found the rim, and we was actually able to make us our own goal, and of course we played on dirt as well.
We did too. In the pastor, we did too.
Oh, okay. Now, how many sisters and siblings you had?
We have it's 11 of us living. We have one brother that's deceased. So my mom
Okay,
had 12 kids.
okay. So all 12 was in the backyard on.
No, at the time it was six of us at that time.
Okay,
Six.
okay.
Four
Now,
girls and one brother.
now where you fall in at that?
If you count down, I'm number seven. If you count up, I'm number five.
Oh, okay. So you was kind of bringing it a little bit, huh?
I
You
did.
was yeah. Well, by the time I figured all this thing, I'm number 9. I was a baby, so everybody was already
Wow.
had their game tight. So so
Mhm.
so when you played in college, you went to Mississippi State, right?
I did.
Okay. Now, was you all American coming out of high school?
All state, all star, one of the top players in the state of Mississippi. And I will say this, and it's nothing against Mississippi State because I enjoyed every day I spent at Mississippi State. But my dream school was Jackson State University. That was my dream school coming out of high school.
Well, yeah, because you look, you didn't have to say that because I was coming hard on you. You mean to tell me you took all that talent and you at that time you didn't go to Jackson State?
Coach, I promise you, I tried my best to get to Jackson State, but it just didn't work out.
Okay, okay. You had the person who kept you from going to Jackson State.
No, I went down to visit, but during the time when I graduated, Jackson State had one of the top women's basketball teams in the SWAC. So at that time, they just didn't need my service.
So, and what year did you come out?
1978.
So not only Jackson State win in football, they were winning in women basketball because I
Yes,
know you know Denise Taylor.
I
When
do.
she was the head coach, a classmate of mine, she won 5 SWAC championships.
Absolutely.
And Coach Reed, who was on uh, Miss uh, Coach Taylor's staff, she don't won what 3.
Mm, two in a
So
row.
and then that was when yeah, and when Walter Payton was coming out before you got there, they had great football teams. So this ain't no surprise about all the hoopla over the success that Deion Sanders is having.
No, no. Like I said, it's 1978 when I came out of high school. They was one of the top programs in the SWAC. She didn't even have to. Her program was so serious that she didn't even have to go out and recruit because
Wow,
everybody wanted to come there,
wow. I think in football
including
as well.
myself. Excuse
so
me.
just so give me some numbers out of high school. Score? Was you a rebounder? Was you a scorer? Was you both?
Both, but I have always been a great rebounder, but I could score too. I mean, I took my rebounding talents onto the SEC at Mississippi State and became one of the best rebounders in the SEC.
Well, if you just now tuning in, I'm talking to a Hall of Famer, Tuskegee, inducted to the Tuskegee Hall of Fame, Coach Belinda, Roby, uh, just got in the Hall of Fame. Let's talk about the Hall of Fame. Were you expecting it? Did it come as a surprise or?
It came as a surprise, but I was so honored to have been chosen. Coach, you work hard, you have great players around you, you make sure your players graduate, you do all the things that you should do as a coach. And really, when it comes to accolades, it's really not your decision, and you just hope that one day somebody will reward you for your effort. And I was fortunate enough to get it done and for it to happen for me. So
Yeah.
I was very honored.
Well, okay. In high school, you was this all American. Then you go to Mississippi State. And what did you major in at Mississippi State?
I was in the Department of Kinesiology,
Oh,
Health
okay,
and PE. Yes,
okay. So now you go there. Did you make any honors in the SEC at that time?
it did well. Not necessarily. I didn't make the all. Of course, we had a lot of talent, but I held my own. Like I said, I was one of the best rebounders in the SEC during my tenure at Mississippi State.
Okay. So you didn't make no, you didn't make all SEC.
No, I did not, because
Oh
I
man.
had to look. Everybody else on the team wanted the ball. I had too many scores. Somebody. That's why I became the best rebounder because everybody else wanted to score.
So you decided as a player that I'm gonna contribute where I can contribute.
But coach, this is what I always tell players: make the coach have to play you. Because if you're the best at something, then guess what? The coach have to play you.
All right. So when did you discover that you was gonna be a coach?
Really, I didn't. When after I graduated, coaching was not on my list. I just happened to be back in Duck Hill, my hometown, working for this company, and I got a call from one of my professors telling me that there was a job open at Mary Holmes College in West Point, Mississippi, and he recommended me for the job, and that's how I got started.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Well, let's go. What you call it? Was called West Holmes,
It was
Mississippi.
called Mary Holmes College in West Point, Mississippi.
Okay, we at West Point.
Mary
All
Holmes
right.
College.
Give me some give me some stats. I mean, did you take them to the playoffs? Did you?
No, we had some good teams, but no, well, we made the playoff one year, but we didn't go to the championship or anything. But that's where my coaching started. It started at Mary Holmes College.
So you jumped from having a regular job to a head coach
I
at a
did
college.
right out. Look, right out my second year out of, I did no high
Right.
school experience at all. Right from 2 year out of college, I was at Mary Holmes College coaching the women's basketball team and being a full-time professor
Yeah.
teaching in the
And
PE
you
department.
right, right. So then what would you say that you took your style of coaching behind? Because at that time, the University of Texas was winning championships.
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana Tech was winning women championships, and UT, Pat Summit, was winning championships.
And you
So
just
would
and
you
you
say,
just you just gave me you just put out the answer. Pat Summer was one of my favorite. I've always admired her program, the way they play, tenacity, defense. Great. And I'm a defense. I love some defense, so I definitely patted myself after her, no doubt about it.
defense first? If if
Defense
if if
first.
they, if they can't score and we score having to score one bucket, we win
Ex-
1-0, huh?
ex- exactly.
You know that's kind of some of my philosophy, but I'm an offensive guy.
Right.
And I feel if I could stop a team, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
get in the end zone. Y'all just
Okay.
stop them. I'm gonna get in there. If it's one time, I'm gonna get in there. So I
Okay.
kind of got that same type of philosophy, even though I am an offensive guy.
Mm-hmm.
As far as football is concerned. So okay, you come in there. You as a head coach, I know you made some mistakes and you learn a lot from there. Then where do you go from there? Where
So
do
after
Coach
so after
Roby
five
go
years
from there?
after 5 years at Mary Holmes, I felt like it was time to advance my career. So I decided to take the job at Kentucky State University, which is in Frankfort, Kentucky. And
The
I have to
thoroughbreds, the thoroughbreds.
I did, but I have to admit that was a short stint. I was only there. I'm not gonna say it was very short. So I ended up getting at that time. I ended up getting out of coaching after a semester, to be honest. And I decided to it was some personal things going on, so I took a step away from coaching and I became a full-time professor in the PE department at Georgetown College and at Kentucky State University. So I was a full-time professor for about maybe 5 years until my second daughter was born. And after that, I decided, you know what, I've had a long enough break, and I decided to get back into college coaching. And there were several jobs that was available at that time. But the one job that really, really had my mind and really had me interested was Tuskegee University.
Right, right, right. Well, I got to talk about your husband, my friend. Uh,
Okay.
Now, where did he come in all this? Because I know we played together in 82, 83, 83,
Right. Right.
83.
Well, believe it or not, I met your teammate when I was coaching his sister at Mary Holmes College.
Oh, okay. Okay. I got you.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a great guy. He's a
it
great guy.
is. He
Smooth,
is.
smooth talker. Don't let a whole bunch bother him. Definitely can play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball. So then he comes in and at least you guys get married,
In
start having your
1988, yes, we did. We
family.
got
And
married
so
in 18.
was some of your choices at that time? Because a lot of people don't understand coaches always under extreme pressure with family.
Mm-hmm.
Giving family time and things of that nature. And I've lived that life my whole
Mm-hmm.
career. Uh, and sometimes the spouse don't feel like they're important, but they are.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real it challenges marriage a lot. Can you kind of share that with us during that little course of time?
Well, we have been fortunate, and it really helped the fact that he was an athlete himself. So that was really a plus. I mean, that's not the reason I married him, but that did help. The fact that he understood the coaching situation, the coaching carousel. So I have always had his support, even the years that I was at Mary Holmes, and when I moved to Kentucky, when we moved to Kentucky, and definitely the 13 years I coached at Tuskegee University, he's always been my number one, my biggest fan, my biggest supporter.
That's that's always important. So you stay in Kentucky,
So we
stay.
stayed there from 89 from 99 to about 1999. But from 1999 to we moved to we stayed in Kentucky about 5 years before we moved to Tuskegee, because we moved to Tuskegee in 1999.
Okay. And so you leave there, y'all pack the bags like the Beverly
Mm-hmm.
Hillbillies and pack it and on down to the greater pastures
to,
and
to, to
end up
Tuskegee,
in
Alabama.
Tuskegee, Alabama. And a lot of people don't understand that Tuskegee is not uh, only known for the greatness of the academic part. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Tuskegee Airmen. Uh, it's always been a great football, basketball,
Mm-hmm.
athletic place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they've played some of the first games ever, probably women's sports as well. Tell us the persona. You know, when you walk on that campus, I've been on that campus. You could just feel
But
the
see,
great.
I got familiar. I became very familiar with Tuskegee University when I was at Mississippi State. Believe it or not, Coach, we played Tuskegee women's basketball team when I was at Mississippi State, and they came into Mississippi State, and we barely, as a matter of fact, we beat them by either 1 or 2 points. And I got a chance to talk to the coach after the game. I don't know, for some reason, I had an opportunity to have a conversation with him after the game, and I will never forget that conversation. And who would have known that one day that I would replace the legend himself, Coach Tony Lester.
Oh wow,
Sure
wow. So you
did.
you came in and there was big shoes to fill. You know, that's tough. That's
Because
tough to.
prior to my comment, they had hired maybe 2 or 3 coaches after Coach Lester, but and once I took the job, when I got the job, Tuskegee was at the they were the really they were the bottom team in the conference. My first year there,
Okay.
my first year there, we end up we went 500 my first year, believe it or not. So and after that we
Mhm.
just kept going. It just
Right,
kept going
right,
up,
yeah.
up, up.
This,
Yeah.
yeah, this the greatest part about it. All right. Then you start first year, y'all went what 500. How many
500.
SIAC championships you don't want?
We won we won the overall championship, won everything in 2008.
Okay.
We won the regular season. We won 4 regular season championships, and we won the whole tournament and all in 2008.
Yeah. And then was that the 16-0 season?
No, the 16-0 season was 2013. That
Okay.
we went 16-0 in the conference regular season, 16-0. So we won, and Coach, believe it or not, we was in 4 championship games. One time, all we had to do is make a free throw, we win the championship. Another time, we just get a rebound, we win the championship. I mean, I still have nightmares about.
Oh wow, wow. I know those days. That's gotta hurt. You gotta live with that you go into the tournament favorite and get to the dance and can't dance.
Yeah. The very year we were 16-0 in the regular season, Coach, believe it or not, we lost that. And I was very uncomfortable with us being 16-0. And sure enough, we go to the tournament and we lose the first game in the tournament.
Wow, wow. By the worst team,
By the way,
supposedly.
exactly.
Wow, wow, wow.
But you a
So
coach, you know how that go.
yeah, yeah. You know, I always tell coaches when they call me, you know, when you either win a big game the week before or
Mm-hmm.
you lose a game that you didn't supposed to the
Mm-hmm.
week before, my advice was always leave it right there. When you come
Mm-hmm.
back the next day at work, don't talk about it. You know, well, this is how I handle it because Tuskegee beat me in 2010 and caused me the national black college national championship.
They
Because the
did.
only two other teams we had lost to was uh, was a Division 1 A school in PV, but that was the first part of the year. Then we reeled off, and Tuskegee beat me, and I cursed the whole trip back. I couldn't even
Mm,
sleep, and
I understand.
and And I remember calling my brother, and he said, "Well, you can't let them beat you twice." And I said,
Mm,
"Well, what you mean by that?" And he said, "You gotta let it go. I wouldn't don't watch no film, don't talk
right.
about it no more. It's done and over. It's almost like you didn't even play the game."
Mm-hmm.
And we were and that worked. That
Yeah,
worked.
that
And
was some good advice. I agree with that. Yeah, that was some great advice.
so you had some great players. Is there any great players that kind of touch your heart? I know as a coach, there's always some kids that really uh, 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 gave it their all that kind of stand out.
Coach, I had so many, and I am reluctant to name them because I had so many, and the players was they were genuine players. They were student athletes, but they was academically sound, and they begin and it's like we were just like a family. It's like they know I was gonna look out for them, and they was gonna always look out for me. So it was like it was those were some exciting days coaching at Tuskegee University.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your coaching tree. Meaning, how many people came up under you from the first time you took the head job to you retiring now at Tuskegee? Did any of your assistants was able to move on, and then you were able to come back and face them, and then you had to let them know who's the head coach?
Believe it or not, Coach, I was fortunate enough to have. I had one assistant when I first got there, and after that, I made a change that second year. And that young lady, Tasha Askew, she was there with me from my second year, which is 2000, until I retired in 2013. I had that one assistant the whole time.
Of course, now she's the head coach.
Well, she was, as a matter of fact, when I stepped away from coaching, she was. They did announce her. She was the head coach. Yes, she was there. Yes, she did, and she earned it. She
Okay,
deserved it.
right? Is that who's the head coach now?
Oh no, she's not there now, but she did take over after I left. Yeah, after I resigned
Oh,
from
okay,
coach, retired from coach.
okay, all right. Well, uh, 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 I gotta ask you, with the Dion, that comes into black college sports now, and every time I pick up an article, whether it's uh, some black college, Bluefield Black College, Benedict, whatever, they say the Dion, it's the Dion effect. Uh, I'm a black college guy. I've been around for 40 years, and I think he's doing a heck of a job, a
Right.
heck of a job
Mm-hmm.
with Jackson State. He's one of those ones that have taken Jackson State, who's already been up here when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to black college, but to another level.
Mm-hmm.
Your comments on the Dion effect.
I think I totally agree with you. He has done a lot for HBCUs, and I think a lot of HBCUs have gotten more exposure because of his presence. But I also am aware that a lot of situations was already there before Dion got there. It's just Dion has used his platform to speak and to say things that others would not come out and say. So to me, that has been probably the most exciting thing that he has done to me,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
being able to speak and to say what need to be said when no others would.
right. Well, it's no doubt that these black colleges has been their athletic departments have been starving
Right.
because we didn't have no vision.
Exactly.
My take on it, and I'm gonna ask you what you think is athletics has been uh, the trail, the blazing trail for African Americans since Jesse Owens won the Olympics. Uh, Muhammad Ali, you know, uh, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Will Chamberlain, all these great athletes had came out, and Jesse Jackson played sports at North Carolina A&T. But it seemed like to me, and I came in '81, that these new administrators, when they started taking over, then it was the old, oh, don't you're a jock, you just a jock, you know, and athletes had to overcome that we're more than just jocks, we're leaders, we're role models. And I don't think that we as black schools understood that athletics is the ambassador of your university on a college level.
It is.
Notre, Notre Dame, St. Mary, and all that, but it's known for football. You know, Miami is University of Miami was known for football. Now nobody talks about the University of Miami.
Hmm.
Nobody talks about Florida State. Bobby Bowden, those great years, prime time, those great years.
True.
UCLA is dying off or have died off in USC. So the PWIs picked up on it and started putting money into it. And now once again, we behind the eight ball. And then now here comes Dion, saying things that a whole bunch of great coaches said, and some of them done, and it just went unnoticed. So that's my piece on it. We here to hear your piece on it. Those are things that go through my mind that black schools did not take advantage of all the times that we sold out games and all that kind of stuff during the 70s and 80s.
I agree with you. They did not take advantage of that situation. I agree they did not. But I also must say that each HBCU have to when you hire an AD for your particular university, you have to make sure you have to know that that person is a fit. And my question, then you have to know too. Okay, you hiring okay, why are you hiring that individual? What have that individual accomplished before you hired them? So how? Because my problem. Okay, how can you hire John from Temple University if you look down the sheet and you see what was his accomplishment, and then if he didn't have any, why would you hire him to come to your university? What is he supposed to do for you when he didn't do at the other university? That's the
Right.
problem. I still say that to this day, a lot of HBCUs just do not hire the right fit for their particular program. And then you say, what is the right fit? An individual that the number one thing that you should be hiring an individual for to do in athletic is fundraise. If you got an individual that cannot fundraise for your department and for your program, then why are you hiring that person? Why is that person on your staff?
Right, right. I always say, especially to my alma mater, and I'll say it and stand on the table, you got to hire your own, your qualified own that has either
But
left, went out
you're
in the city
qualified.
and stayed and does and did some great things because they got a vested interest in the university.
Exactly. That's true. Coach, I totally agree with you. Absolutely.
I get tired. If I had a dollar for every time somebody, when I go back to homecoming at Texas Southern University, and they ask me, "Oh man, we want you back. We want you back." Man, I wouldn't have to work. And of course, when I talk about different coaches that's out there, you got James Woody, and I think we throw these young guys in these head coaching roles too fast, and also in these athletic director roles.
And I agree. It's funny you mentioned a James Woody. So you explain to me how James Woody, with all the success that he had at Central State, at Tuskegee University, at Jackson State, and you're not good enough to go back and be the head coach at your alma mater. Coach, something's wrong with that.
Right, right, right. And even like now, even a coach anywhere, you
He-
know, I
But
mean,
your alma mater,
yeah,
your own, where you, yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's tough. Well, that brings me route to as much as success as you had. Why you can't be the head coach at Mississippi State? You know what I mean?
I
Hey,
guess I probably would have had to apply in order to even be considered. And truth be told, I really can't blame nobody but myself for not ever applying, coach. To be
yeah,
honest.
yeah. Well, look, sometimes when you get beat down so much, it's like it's a glass ceiling over your head. I when 90, I don't know if you noticed that, when 90 to 95% of all athletic directors in college sports
Hmm.
are white.
Yeah.
Not saying they were prejudiced or racist, but something's wrong with that picture. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I know, a person's nature is to hire somebody who either look like them
Mm-hmm.
or been where they from. So when you know that, and when I just told you that, how does that make you feel?
It is what it is, Coach. I mean, it is what it is.
What do you think that we need to do in that to try to change that? And see, and that's my thing with the Dion theory. It's easy to beat down HBCU schools and what we don't have and what we don't have. Well, you got to sometimes, and the first thing I done when we talked today was to point the finger at us. We did do some things that we could have done better, and you always got to take care of self first.
Mm-hmm.
But still, though, the playing field definitely was unbalanced by monies that come from the state, to these to the institutions. I know Tuskegee is a private institution, but these state institutions. So to impress me uh, with Dion and his persona, let's start talking about why there ain't more black head coaches, women and men, in these PWI schools.
And Coach, that's a. I guess my question is, how many of us are truly okay with that? I mean, how many of us that sit on the sideline and sit up in the stands and watch it week after week? How many of us are really okay with that? We enough of us don't speak on it. We don't complain about it. We don't speak on it. Even us athletes that attended those PWIs, we should be, truth be told, we should be speaking on it more than anybody, but we don't. And
Right.
you're right, it's a good point. We don't, because we should have a problem with that. We really should. When we go back to our alma mater and we see in the athletic department, you can open the program out and you look and you see in the whole department, it might be three of us in the whole department. Now, Coach, you and I both know there's something wrong with that picture.
Right. Well, ain't no question. I mean, just what 3, 4 weeks ago, we just discovered that Nebraska has its first ever
Mm,
black coach leading one of the sports. And here's the crazy thing part. He used to work for me and my brother. My brother gave him his first job, and he was a
wow,
receiver coach, so he worked under me and Mickey Joseph. And you
wow.
talk all. I was just looking the other day. Joe, man, what is his name? I just thought about it, but I know they had a Heisman Trophy winner in Mike Rozier,
Mm-hmm,
and they had one before him back in 1972. So
mm-hmm,
you had black players since 1972. It's 2022. Is
mm.
that 50 years? And
Yeah,
you never had a black head coach at no sport?
because they are not the only one. There are others
Oh,
PW.
no, ain't no question. Hey, that's the only one right now is documented.
Right, exactly, exactly.
You know, there's shit. You got Ohio State the same way. You know what I'm saying? Uh, uh, you got a bunch of places are the same way. So here's my take, and I guess this is why I brought that up is what can we do? What give me some ideas, and then I'll share some of my ideas with you. What you think? And I know I'm putting you kind of on the spot a little bit, but
Well,
what can we do? What comes to your mind?
I think that it's something that the Black Alumni Association from each university can address it. I think it can start with us.
Right, 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 right. I was looking more on a stage of what is the NCAA doing,
Nothing.
and then I can go even further. What is the state legislature doing? You know,
Right.
you giving money to these people. I know they'll say, "Oh, well, we don't give money to athletics," but at least they can change
Mm-hmm.
or help change or put some restrictions on the hiring practices.
But I still say the Black Alumni Association from each university can. I think they can get it. I think we can get it going, get it started. Because I mean, I think they're listening. Really, they have to listen if you think about
Right.
it.
Oh yeah. Oh well. I know in football, 70% of the team, 72% of the team are African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And probably 90% of all teams, the top players are African American,
They are.
but they're not being coached by people who look like them.
Nope.
So, when you see a guy like Dion come into the conference, which was good, but then again, there's always a negative side of it as well. When you make comments as of, oh, well, they just started recruiting 4 and 5 star athletes when he showed up. Uh, the football field is bad, and all these things. Oh, well, we was playing like an HBCU team. And I know he probably didn't mean it. He got caught up, but it makes black coaches look bad.
It does. It does.
Oh, we got names on our back.
Because basically what he's saying is that y'all was okay, y'all accepted that, you didn't have an issue with it.
Right, right. But here's the difference, Coach Roby and Coach Cole. Uh, we didn't play for the NFL. You didn't play for the WNBA, and even if you did, they ain't paid the kind of money that he's made.
True.
I had 2 or 3 million in the bank, or in my career, the success that we've had, where we made that and earned that, then it's a whole different ball game. Then you can go to a school and talk because coaches have spoken up for these things and
Mm-hmm.
then ran out of town.
Mm-hmm. True.
It's like mom's a word.
True.
You mean tell me nobody has said that about this football field? They have. Believe me, I know. I knew about Jackson State before he showed up there. You
Same.
know, I know about my school before I showed up.
Mm-hmm.
What you think? I mean, did you ever have any issues at Tuskegee that you brought up? You was how many years you was there?
13.
13 years. That's a long time. That's a lifetime for a coach. I don't think I've been at any school to coach more than 4 years. You know, uh, and I've never been to a school that I've lost at either. But when you talk up, you're putting yourself at risk. So when people listen and be like, man, he discovered that. Oh man, you mean to tell me these have coaches have spoke up before and have lost their jobs?
That's true, but I must say at Tuskegee I was fortunate because when we had situations that was not acceptable, I was able to go to the AD at that time, which was Rick Comagee when I first got there,
Right.
and others. But say if it was a bus situation, if we was riding on a bus that was not up to par, then we when we got back from that trip, we go to the AD and I would meet with them and let them know, look, we cannot travel on that particular bus anymore. And guess what? We got an upgrade. So yeah, we was. I'm not saying I got everything we wanted, but most of our needs was taken care of at Tuskegee.
Well, that's important. You said that earlier about hiring the right athletic director. That's been in your shoes and understand what's going
Yeah.
on. And and I know being around black, a lot of money have been mismanaged in the HBCU. And I guess when you're dealing with pennies and you mismanage pennies, it's tough. But when you got millions like the PWIs have, because they mismanage money too,
Mm-hmm.
they can cover it up.
They can.
You know, did you ever get a feel on the HBCU levels? Like I said, I've been to several. That sometimes the presidents get where they are like the campus, they own the campus, or or how they handle monies, or how sometimes there's a separation between athletics and the rest of the campus.
No, I've always believed and felt like that they go hand in hand. I mean, I just think the school needs the athletic department, the athletic department needs the school. So
Yeah. Have
I,
you ever felt that way at Tuskegee at times? where your athletes got treated a different way because your student athletes got treated a different way because they were athletes?
Not my players in particular. I don't know about none of the other coaches, but not my players in particular. I mean, from an academic standpoint, you have probably had some professors, felt that way somewhat, but overall, the overall campus. I mean, I think truth be told, I think it's probably like that everywhere. To be honest,
Hmm.
not just the HBCUs, but the PWIs too.
Yeah. So you felt like that at times, sometimes when you went to Mississippi State?
Of course,
They didn't mistreat you over there, did you? Did you have to
yeah,
go in through any?
I promise you, they did not.
Uh,
I was treated very well at Mississippi State.
well, 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 good. We need to try to get you back over there. Did you set any records? You still got records over there at Mississippi State?
Oh, I think they have broken all my rebounding records, so they
Oh,
they are gone. You have kids now getting. Well, I got 21 several times. You got them getting 25 and 30 rebounds now
shit, a game, man.
a game. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So how's the now that you're a social athletic director?
Well, no, I'm not. That was before I left Tuskegee, but now I'm working at a place called Lee County Youth Development Center. That's where I'm working now. I'm not.
So,
I'm not in athletics. I'm not in that arena anymore.
so you stepped down. You stepped
I,
down as social athletic director.
where they had a layoff at that particular time, so
Right, right.
budget budget cut.
I kind of done my little homework on you. I didn't know if you wanted to talk on that or even could talk on, things that has
Yeah,
transpired.
just, just budget cut.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Yeah. So how you like it where you are now?
I love it. I'm helping kids. It's a great place to work at. Once again I'm giving back. I've been giving back all my life, so I guess that's the only way I know is to give back.
Kind of tell us, some specifics of what you do as far as, helping kids where you are now.
I'm a teacher's aide in the classroom, so it, it,
So is it like a school,
it
high
is.
school?
It is. Yes, it
And
is.
what high school is that?
It's not a high school per se. Like I said, it's kind of like a like it's called Lee County Youth Development Center. That's the name of the company.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go back to memory lane. Give me one of your happiest moments uh, in your coaching profession.
When we was finally able to win the regular season championship and the tournament championship in 2008, that was the best. After losing three championships, we was finally able to pull one off. Yeah, I won't never forget that day.
So y'all was the team to beat then in
If
the SIC.
if you was gonna win the SIAC basketball championship, you had to go through Tuskegee University and Fort Valley State University. You had to go through the two of us in order to win the championship.
Wow. And how long did that reign go? Was it all your 13 years
Yeah,
there?
until I retired.
Oh wow. Well, I was at Lane in '05, 6, and 7. Yeah. And we were always rebuilding, as I could say, at Lane. You
Right.
know, but I guess Lane was one of them games. If y'all had a homecoming like football, y'all be playing them, huh?
Unfortunately, you can't. I don't think you can pick your opponent now for the to play. I think it's just however fall on the schedule. I don't think you can just go out there and say, you know what, we're gonna play them for homecoming. I don't think it worked that way anymore.
Okay. Well, you sure at one of your most lowest points. What is your next most lowest point in your coaching profession?
Ooh. Uh,
When you
lose,
had to
look, look, losing three championships.
there you go. There you go. I know we don't like to talk about that sometimes, but there's a lesson learned
Absolutely.
from a lot of things that goes on. Have Tuskegee had their homecoming yet, or y'all looking forward to that?
this is an exciting week in Alabama. Tuskegee. This is Tuskegee homecoming week. As a
Well,
matter of fact, it started today. Homecoming started today.
well, you know my brother, so I always tickle with him. I took him to our homecoming this weekend. We had some other business to take care of down in Houston, and I
Okay.
always tickle with him about he went to University of Nebraska, and I'll be like, man, if you go back to Nebraska now, wouldn't nobody even know you? Come on, man, come to my homecoming, and he got a chance to be around Texas Southern's homecoming. Uh, do you ever go back to Mississippi? You know I'm getting here. Do you ever go back to Mississippi State's homecoming?
Actually, I do. There was a time where we was going just about every single year, and I already know what you're gonna say. No, it's not the same. It's I'll go and say it for you. There's nothing like a HBCU homecoming. I totally agree with you 100%.
Now, do you keep in touch with some of your former
I do.
players that you played ball with?
As a matter of fact, we do. At Mississippi State, they have a women's basketball reunion just about every year. As a matter of fact, we got a reunion that we're going to, that we've been invited to, November the 11th and 12th, that weekend. So yeah, we do. They keep in touch with us. They send us emails. We they make sure that we are still a part of the program.
Well, it's funny that you say that, and I think that's another area where HBCUs miss out at is keeping up with the history
Exactly.
of school, honoring those who have came through and
Mm,
and are champions,
mm.
and just teams, period. And we don't keep up with that information. I know at my alma mater, at Texas Southern, and I'm ashamed to say that when you walk on campus, there's nowhere that you can see, that a team picture or anything. It's fortunate that
Wow.
I play basketball as well, and we got a basketball arena where they got a couple of things up yet that at least it could say that I played basketball there.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's unfortunate because I feel like every year that the athletic department should sponsor a reunion. It should be a reunion for the basketball team and for the football team. They should be invited back. The athletes there now need to know who was there before them, because a lot of them don't know, and you need to make that known to them.
Right, right, right. Well, yeah, we definitely let a lot of history drop through,
Mm-hmm.
and that I said earlier about LC going to Houston, coming down to, you
Mm-hmm.
know, we actually have and will be starting uh, uh, a documentary, and we'll get deeper off into that. Not this show, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, a later show. Uh, where did you meet my brother at? I mean, he has a lot of respect for you. You said it's just somehow that y'all just talk sports all the time.
We do. LC and I do. I can't remember. I really don't remember the first time I met. Oh yes, I do. I think the first time I really met LC and had an opportunity to have a conversation with him was when he was coaching at Stillman College.
Right, right, okay, okay. Y'all must have been over there playing.
I we was No, it wasn't a game. I was there for, I want to say, softball or baseball game or something, but it wasn't football and it wasn't basketball. It was something outside. I think we was there for either the SIC tournament, softball tournament, or maybe baseball tournament. But that's when that was the first time we actually met each other and had a chance to really just have a in-depth conversation about sports in general, just athletics period.
Yeah, well, that's what athletics do. It brings people together. I mean, not only did you meet my brother, then I actually played with your husband. Uh,
Exactly.
I know, and it might probably surprise you. It might, oh, my brother went to Texas. Oh, my husband did too. You know,
Exactly.
I had,
Exactly.
I had, I had to run Arthur down and check on him and see if he's okay. I was a young buck, so he kind of took care of me.
Okay.
Look, I I've enjoyed myself. When you call people and say, "Oh, well, I want to interview you for an hour," it goes so fast. Uh, we're coming down to the last part of the segment. Is there anything that you want to say, your final remarks, or
Just I'm excited to have been on the program today, and To all the Tuskegee fans, I'm looking forward, alumni, looking forward to seeing y'all this weekend for homecoming.
Well, all right, there you have it. The winningest. Are you the winningest or the second winningest? You
No,
took over for the winningest,
oh,
and
coach,
then you, huh?
the winningest. I'm the winningest basketball coach, women's basketball coach at Tuskegee University. They're really the winningest coach. Period.
In the SIAC?
No, at Tuskegee University.
Oh, football and basketball.
Period.
Oh, wow. Well, there you have it. The Hall of Famer, Miss Belinda Roby, former women's basketball coach, former associate athletic director. Uh, if somebody come and put something on the table, would you get back in it?
I have to pray about it first. But they can always make me an offer, though. You know how that go.
Hey,
Make
money
me an
talk,
offer.
huh?
Make me an offer.
I got you. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having.
Uh, thank you. Well, there you have it, Miss Belinda Roby, Hall of Fame of Tuskegee University, and it's so important to all the HBCUs, and I'm talking to the athletic directors. You know, when you take over a program, uh, let having banquets or award ceremonies, whatever you want to call them, find a place on campus to try to stir all the important things about the history of sports there. You know, softball, football. It's always somebody that's on those campuses that take or have taken a lot of pictures to see. At my alma mater, we have nowhere that you could say that we had two first round draft choices, you know, in Kenny Burroughs and Mike Holmes, Super Bowl winners, Greg Briggs, Melvin Evans, uh, sports writers, Tony Wiley. And I haven't even mentioned the man that went to the moon, Michael Strahan from Texas Southern. Uh, you had all these greats: Will Moore, Derek Singleton, Brian Wiggins, Swanee Smith, basketball players, Kevin Granger, uh, Machine Gun Kelly. We had a guy who led the nation in scoring before Kevin got. We had Kevin Adams that could shoot the lights out. We had James West that could play. We had the Applewhite boys. We had Lester Brooks. We've had great baseball players. And our track team at Texas Southern has just been off the charts. But it's just me talking. There's nowhere around the university that we have a place that those people can come back, and then these new students that come in and understand that greatness sit in those seats. And I can imagine at Grambling, they do have the Eddie Robinson uh, uh, air, you know, which was great. And I think it kind of helped save Grambling's athletic. But Jackson State, Mississippi Valley, the greats, Willie Totten and Jerry Rice and a bunch of great, you know, the coach, Stickney. Southern University, the same way. I remember working there. There was no area that just say the greatness. So I think that we need to make sure we restore and save the history. So when we get greatness like Dion that comes in, then he knows and understands that he's standing on the shoulders of greatness, you know, and hopefully that they can keep track of his greatness. That somebody can stand on there, and all the other MEAC schools, you know, Norfolk, you got Morgan State, all the great Willie Lanier, the great players that have came out of those places in North Carolina and A&T. You know, we got to be able to restore our history and quit running from it. Athletics has been the bicycle for blacks to even the playing field uh, forever, and it will continue to be forever. Athletics is $1 billion industry, $1 billion. Black schools, we got to get on board. We got to start forecasting, putting forecasting budgets in there, and that means for when things are tore up, or we need to add stuff that university can go to those budgets. We didn't take advantage of the old days when we were selling out stadiums, Astrodome, Superdome, Yankee Stadium, uh, Atlantic Stadium, Orange Blossom City Classic, Eagle Classic. We sold those stadiums out. We made a lot of money, the whole at Tennessee State, but nobody had vision uh, to make sure that when these days came, that we would be in our rightfully place. That's what has happened to black schools. Not that kids don't want to go to black schools. We didn't do our due diligence. Our presidents, our athletic directors, our head coaches didn't do our due diligence to save and salvage the history. But me and my brother now has been interviewed. We had interviews this past weekend, and we'll have a show on it. That they're working towards a documentary, eventually a movie, on our careers at Tennessee State. That he is LC Cole, uh, was the first and only black coach to ever win a PWI. And I was fortunate enough to be a part of that. And we are the first two brothers, biological brothers, to take over HBCU and do it. And while we were there, me being offensive coordinator, we broke all the OVC records, seasonal records, and some of them was career. And so we're trying to salvage that history. It's history. Nobody's done it. None of the great coaches done it, because now it's already done. We didn't do it 1 year. We did it 2 years, in 1998 and 99. And 22 years, 2022, 23 years later, Tennessee State has not won a conference championship. So that says a lot. So, as I always say, I want to give a shout out to my sponsors. Slow Burn Cigar in Waco, Texas. I want to shoot a shout out to them. Slow Burn, they got a mobile cigar lounge. They support. You can go to slowburnwaco.com. That's SLOWBURNWACO.com, and reach out to them for me. They support the HBCU Stroll. If you feel yourself, as I always say, if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, you tie a knot and you hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you. Texas Southern, we had a great time at the homecoming. This is my story, and I'm out.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is the last day of the month, October 31st, 2022. Number 1, the husband of U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi continues to recover following the Friday morning attack in their San Francisco home. Speaker Pelosi released a statement over the weekend regarding the condition of her husband, Paul Pelosi, who underwent surgery for a fractured skull. The suspect, David DePape, is set to appear in court this week, where he is expected to face charges of attempted homicide, assault with a deadly weapon, burglary, elder abuse, and other felonies involved in what was described as an intentional attack on the speaker's 82-year-old spouse. Number 2, as the clock ticks down on a midterm election deadline of November 8th, Democrats are calling upon their strongest leaders to get voters to the polls. As previously announced, President Barack Obama hit the campaign trail over the weekend in battleground states including Georgia and Wisconsin. The former president has been assigned the job of Energizer-in-Chief, bringing that Obama spirit to voters who are not excited about the races in their states. Number 3, the COVID-19 pandemic devastated poor children's well-being, not just by closing their schools, but also by taking away their parents' jobs, sickening their families and teachers, and adding chaos to their daily lives. According to new data, the average student lost more than half a school year of learning in math and nearly a quarter of a year in reading. Online learning played a major role, but students lost significant ground even when they returned quickly to schoolhouses, especially in math scores in low-income communities. Number 4, the Kankakee, Illinois School Board voted unanimously to terminate first-year math teacher John Donovan after several students recorded him calling a black student the N-word. Several students secretly recorded the October 20th incident showing Donovan arguing with a 15-year-old black student in front of the class. Superintendent Dr. Generva Walters said the district is now also investigating the incident and why administrators were not made aware of the incident earlier. Number 5, salvation. You can't buy it, you can't earn it. It's free to all of those who believe that Jesus died for our sins and came back to earth to fix all the wrongs in our lives. Salvation is God's greatest gift to us. It's the gift that only He can give. Yes, only God can save you, and salvation was put into motion by Jesus dying on the cross for our sins. Read more about this interesting topic in today's Ministry Monday Spotlight in the What You Need to Know newsletter. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Be the person who empowers others to be great. Whew. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with comedians Chris Paul and Huggy Lowdown and social justice activist Coy Malone as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Black Voters Matter and HBCU Go TV. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.